Gunmen in Mbadwem and Tiortyu communities of Benue State have reportedly killed at least 23 residents. The communities were said to have come under attack on Monday night by marauding herdsmen who invaded several communities in 3 local government areas of the state. The armed herders were said to have invaded Tse-Sumaka village in Mbadwem Council Ward of Guma Local Government Area, killing 9 people and injuring 1. The killing in Tarka Local Government Area triggered protests by youths who displayed bodies of the victims along Makurdi Gboko Federal Highway in the early hours of Tuesday. The protests disrupted vehicular movement for hours. Reacting to the killings, the state governor, Ortom, in a statement issued by his chief press secretary, Nathaniel Ikyur, and made available to journalists in Makurdi, directed his people to rise up to defend themselves forthwith. Joining us now from Makurdi in Benue State is Terrence Kuanum, a security expert who currently assessed the post-peace process in the Northeast region and is presently in Benue State over the renewed attacks on Benue communities. Good morning, Mr. Kuanum. Thank you for joining us.
Hello, Mr. Kuanum. Can you hear us?
I can hear you very well.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, Tundun just did that introduction. And one of the things she said is how Governor Samuel Ortom of Benue State has reportedly called on the people in the state to rise and defend themselves. Do you think that's a possible solution to this spate of killings, not just in Benue, but in other parts of the country as well? You are the security expert. Would that be a good prescription?
Dr. Mbadi, if we look at the way things are going in the country, where our serving governors who are chief security officers of their states are coming out to, even in public space, turn out intels like they know where the people attacking them are, they have their phone numbers, and they know where they meet, they know the forest they occupy, and XYZ, and yet the security have been unable to be able to go to those locations and attack those people. You have no option than to call on your citizens to be able to come out and defend themselves. In time past on this program, we have discussed how elements of Boko Haram are trying to incur into the activities of the bandits and herdsmen. And today we are looking at the impact of the incursion. Today, the bandits have been able to use an explosive where the attacking of state, Tarka Local Government, where the attack took place, was right in the heart of Benue State. So it means that there is more audacity, there is more coordination, and all of that. And so it's a very dangerous situation that if people doesn't rise up now to be able to protect themselves, and if they keep relying on conventional securities who are not ready themselves to be able to handle intel that has been given to them for actions, it means that we are going to be in more serious danger. So we need to quickly put together community guards that will be able to take care of communities and man guard for them, because there's no one there at all. If we look at most of the places this attack take place, most times it takes hours for the security personnel themselves to come back, and that is why it is always very difficult for you to even get a trace of the people that even comes to attack. And even when the state governors keep calling on security personnel to go to certain locations where they suspect that these attackers are, nobody goes there, no arrests are ever made, and all of that. And the situation in Benue was more pathetic in a situation where after the attack, we are heading to 48 hours. The federal government has not been able to condole with the people of Benue. They are left to be to themselves. And the government is actually standing there for the people to be able to give them hope. So if the governor had not come out to make that statement to give his people hope, actually the situation in Benue would have been worse.
Is there any sort of background to this attack? Not that it can ever be justified in any way, but was there any sort of provocation? Was there an incident? Because what's been reported is that this was an attack by some herders.
The situation in Benue has a history, and it got to the peak of it in 2018 January, where after the attack that they lost 73 people, the Miati Arakauta came out audaciously in a press conference to take responsibility of the killings. and the leadership has consistently been called upon to be prosecuted, but no one has been able to do that. And they have consistently threatened the people of Benue that if that law, the anti-open grazing law, is not repealed, they are going to keep attacking the people of Benue. There's going to be no peace until that law has been repealed. The situation we have now is that in all of these crises that was taking place in Benue and other parts of the Middle Belt and also in the Northwest, because of the huge tucanos that have been used in the Northeast to disseminate the terrorists that are there, some of them make their way into the Northwest and the Middle Belt. And because these crises were on hand and there were these elements within these territories that were causing crisis, that have been cured into them, and this has given them more sophistication and more coordination. And that is why I start off by saying that today we have seen the bandits in the Northwest have been able to use an explosive device on a train. Today, the attacks in Benue are no longer on the border areas. They have moved right within the heart of Benue and they are attacking. It means that this thing has taken another dimension. And I support strongly the statement made by the governor of Benue State in that the people should come out and defend themselves. And not just stop at that, he as governor is going to support them in whichever way he can to make sure they defend themselves. Because in all of these attacks, the presence of the security is always there. And when they come in, it's always to rather come and protect the society, the society so that the people that have been attacked cannot be able to go out and even go after the people that attack them. We rather stop them. So it's quite a frustrating situation the aggressors are having, because the more they attack, the more they are protected, because the security will not allow you to go after your aggressor. And you have to be in one place and suffer the pain and swim in the blood that have been flown in your community.
So you said two things I picked out. You said, can this be connected to the open grazing bill that was signed in Benue? Because you talked about that. And secondly, you said the security officers are protecting these people from attacking their aggressors, people that are coming to attack them on their own home turf. So what is really going on here? And then you also talked about the angle of, okay, probably terrorists that are decimated from parts of the north, they're coming to Benue. But that part you said really caught me, that the security agents are preventing them from going back to attack people that come to attack them. What is going on?
First off, let me handle the issue of the open grazing law. You know, all these crises taking place within the Northwest and the North Central, all of them have their peculiarities. If we go to Southern Kaduna, they are talking of issues of land that have been refused to give to them for grazing. If we go to the Plateau State, they have the issues of you attacked our people and XYZ. And then when you come to Benue, the basis of the crisis came with the issue of the law. The law came as a result of trying to resolve the problem once and for all. They came to Benue, they participated in the process of making the law. But when the law was in the process of being signed into law, they started bringing issues about it and issuing threats to the people of Benue State, which were reported to the security agencies in the country. Now, the basis of this crisis started with all of that. But what I'm trying to add to all of this, from what we have already discussed, is that the incursion that have come in and the audacities and the coordinations these attacks are taking place now, they are quite sophisticated, and it is more worrisome because those elements that have come to mix up with these people are very dangerous, and we don't need to allow them to be right in the heart of our country, causing this kind of destruction. And so we need to quickly try to start looking at solutions, and the solutions actually lie with the people, because if we don't stand up ourselves, you and I know the challenges we have with our security agencies, where even some situations, the weaponry of the aggressors is even much sophisticated than that of our conventional security and XYZ. So until we are able to lock up our communities through the guards that we are going to, they are going to volunteer to this, for nobody to be able to come into the community so that they can be able to sanitize what they have on ground to protect themselves, we're going to have challenges, because strangers should no longer be allowed in certain communities. And to move further, if somebody insists on bringing a stranger in the community and such security breaches take place, we should be able to bring serious penalties on those families that are able to bring the strangers to such communities.
The part you said security officials protect the attackers. I want you to expatiate on that.
Okay, this is what happens. There is an attack in a community, and the community has risen up to regroup and be able to go after the three of the people that came, because most of these attacks takes place in the dead of the night or early in the morning where people are still asleep. So obviously nobody is prepared that somebody is coming to attack the communities. And so when they wake up to regroup, by the time they've regrouped, the securities have arrived, and the next directive is that nobody moves. Let's secure the environment. And so the security themselves are not going after the trail of anybody. The community themselves cannot even be able to regroup and go after the attackers. And so everything becomes a standstill. Well, the implication of that is that the aggressors has escaped their hideout, where nobody knows. The security themselves seems to have no capacity to be able to go after these people and make an arrest to give hope to these communities that are being attacked. So in essence, that is protection of the aggressors.
Well, today, earlier on this program, we reported that the president has summoned a meeting of the Council of State. And the major issue to be discussed there, we're told, is insecurity and the 2023 elections. Do you think that the Council of State being brought together, the members being summoned to a meeting at this point, will be able to make any difference? And in your view, what are those specific things beyond this idea that people should look out for themselves that government still needs to do?
Well, Doctor, but do you have experiences with issues of this nature? Are we not jumping the gun because we have a situation where states are attacked? You heard the statements that the governor of Kaduna State made in public domain. Me and you have not seen the governor of Kaduna State gone to brief the president. You heard the statement coming from Benue State, the lamentations of the governor of Benue State or the killings of his people. He has not gone to brief the president, and these things are happening all over the country. And so the president is going into a meeting of the Council of State to brief the Council of State about what is it going to be speculating in such a very sensitive meeting in this country, because these governors that have the first-hand information of what is happening in their places have not been able to brief the president. And so what is he going to discuss about insecurity in the Council of State meeting where he has no first-hand information? He has not visited.
If I may comment. Governors are also members of the Council of State. Maybe the meeting will now give those, governors the opportunity to present their case to a larger body, including the president and others who are members of that council. Although Governor Samuel Ortom, when we interviewed him, said it looks like he has been declared a persona non grata at the presidential villa. Maybe today he will get a chance to sit at the table. Please carry on.
Yeah, I have the privilege of being in Makurdi at the moment as we speak, and the governor is still in Makurdi, so I don't know if he's going to attend that meeting. But what I was saying was not about stopping governors from attending Council of State meetings. But I think in overall, the president is supposed to have made a comprehensive presentation to a sensitive meeting like the Council of State, where discussions can be open and solutions can be proffered at that level. But the situation, he has not collected his nose and is rushing to a Council of State meeting where it is our country and we want peace in our country, and we wish that that meeting is able to bring out results that we can be able to have peace in our country. But I expected the president to be more proactive in collecting reports and being at where his citizens are being killed. It's very important, and you know what I'm talking about, but we wish that that meeting brings out good tidings for all of us, because we all need peace in this country.
Well, there's a pervasive sense that Governor Ortom feels that the federal government has actually been indifferent, more than anything, to the plight of the people of Benue. Would you agree with that? Do you see indifference in this situation?
I agree with it completely, because if you come to Benue and you see the number of IDP camps that have been abandoned to be at the mercy of the state government, it is quite shocking that NEMA has not been able to attend to any IDP in Benue like it is done in other places. And when you come to Benue and you see the number of attacks and the humanitarian situation that is here, and then the just recent attack, 48 hours, the president has not been able to condole with the people of Benue State. Obviously, you agree with that statement, because anything that comes out from Benue from this attack, but this is someone that has been able to stand with the people and has been able to contribute to sensitive issues of in this country, so that as a stakeholder, he's supposed to lend his voice so that everybody can be able to live peacefully. But that has turned him into an enemy of the leadership of this country, and that is affecting the entire state, which is quite unfortunate because this is the state that has a very large number. This is a food battle state of the nation, and the economy is being battered on a daily basis, and the chief security officer is complaining, and what he will only do is make him an enemy. It's quite sad, but I think the president should be able to offer leadership better than what he's doing to the people of Benue.
When this happened in Kaduna, or because it's still happening in Kaduna, Governor Nathaniel Ikyur talked about mercenaries. We had Captain Aliyu Babangida come here, talk about the fact that there are a lot of people willing to fight to save the country. Internal force, they could raise 1 million mercenaries. That's what he said. You are talking about a village guard system. A lot of people are talking about state police. Some even argue that since Amotekun started his work around the Ondo axis, peace and sanity have somewhat returned. Do you think it's time for something like that? Or we should still depend on the federal security forces?
Yeah, the situation we have has far overwhelmed the federal security forces. And the best way of protection in any security formation is right from the cells and then from our neighborhoods. And so when you have a situation where your neighborhoods are no longer safe, you first, before you are able to succeed in any security architecture you want to put in place, your neighborhoods must first be safe, because that is the primary intel that is going to secure the larger society. And so we have long gone past the stage of community policing and state policing and all of that. We should put politics aside because that is the only solution that we'll have at the time. The commander should be close to where these crises are happening, not always waiting for Abuja. Because in a situation today where a governor comes out to tell you that he has the phone number of people attacking his state, he knows the name, he knows where they are. Sometimes I hear their conversations. These same people have kidnapped people in a train, they have gone into the forest, they are calling families, yet we don't have security enough to be able to trade these people wherever they are causing this mayhem to go and nap that in the bill. And then if you recall, Giwa and Chagom local government, where these things took place in Kaduna, have been in total control of these bandits in the last 2 years. That is, for you to be able to even live in those local governments, you must pay loyalties to these guys before you can survive in your ancestral home. That is the situation we have there on one hand. Fundamentally, we have a situation in our hand where we need leadership to be able to end this crisis, because from every information we've gathered from our state, it is obvious that what is holding us into this is the leadership of this country. We had expected that the situation in the Northeast for calming down, the National Security Advisor and the security team would have rushed back to the U.S. to be able to get permission to use the Tucanos outside the Northeast, because when we were purchasing the Tucanos, there was strict directive that we shouldn't use them outside the Northeast. And because they have been able to help us so much disseminate the crisis in the Northeast, I expect that the National Security Advisor would have gone back to the U.S. because these people have been declared terrorists and we should treat them as such. And so the U.S. are supposed to have known that we have terrorists in the Northwest and the Middle Belt, that we need the Tucanos to be able to trade with them. So the laxity is always coming from the political will, that is not coming from the leadership of this country. And so they need to sit up, they need to collaborate with the information that are coming from the state. We sympathize with the people of Benue, and we are proud of the governor for always standing by his people. What he's doing, prosperity will join him further. Thank you.
Well, Mr. Kuanum, some people have tried to establish a connection between the spate of killings across the country, between the killings and the 2023 general elections. Do you think that there is a connection, as is being alleged, and that maybe there are some fifth columnists working very actively to derail the democratic process as scheduled in 2023?
Yeah, politicizing this crisis is not out of place. And if you can recall, by the end of 2019, in this studio, we have analyzed how the surge in insecurity is always as a result of elections, because immediately after elections, there's always a huge damage that we receive from these elements in this country. And I know that the political will that we are lacking today is also part of the negotiations they are had with these elements that are in the bush destroying our people, because there is always a point that there is a disconnect on why these elements are not done out with, because the intel is always there, the sophistication of our armory, the government has always let us know that they have the capacity and all of that. But there is always a point where there is a disconnect, where a governor will tell you, I know where they are, where nobody will ever go there, where people will prefer to go on man or highways and just right behind them, attacks are taking place, where an IG will visit the place and the next day we are losing 30-something people. All of this, there's always a disconnect. Why this thing is not ending? So, ruling politics out of it will not be correct, because there's no political way at all to end this.
What is the state? Do we have no time left? We have 2 minutes. What is the status of vigilante efforts in the North Central, specifically Benue State, since that's what we're talking about now? We've had some progress being reported in the Southwest since the formation of Amotekun. Have you had any such results in Benue State?
It will be difficult to be able to get the synergy like that, like the Southwest got on the issue of Amotekun, because of one, political differences, tribal differences, religious differences, and all of that much in the North Central, where you have close to 100 tribes and all of that, and different interests running. And so, for you to have a vigilante that is successful, it means you are synergizing inter across the border for you to be able to, if anybody runs across, he meets the same level of treatment he got from the other place. So it's difficult for that synergy. Yes, the North Central governors have met in time past to be able to develop that synergy base. I think the interest has overwhelmed the creation of such vigilantes. If not, right in Benue, where I am at the moment, there are even community guards that have been created by the law. But what happens across the border? There is none in the Nasarawa border, there is none in Taraba, and like that across the North Central. So it's difficult to synergize this inter because of these differences. What the only effort is being done here is just within their borders, and which is not enough at all. So until we are patriotic enough to be able to put all these differences aside of us and be patriotic to save our people, I think these challenges will keep being there in areas like this. We are proud of what is happening in the Southwest because of Amotekun, because they have really risen up for their people.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Terrence Kuanum, for joining us on the morning show today. Thank you very much indeed.